Hi all, I'm Joel Mahony, or the spiritual superhero. Um, I am a life coach that specialises in intuition and imagination. Um, and yes, my life experiences have led me to follow my purpose and to do this basically. So I'll be talking to you today just about a day in the life of me. Now today particularly, I was at a new gym signing the forms for the sign up forms, and I was filling out the first couple of questions: age, date of birth, phone number, contacts, emergency contacts, all of that. And I actually got to the occupation section, and an overwhelming sense of pride actually was sapped into me, because that was an aha moment where I actually thought, I've got my own business. I've been working so hard the last few days, especially to get everything up and running. And it's been quite an adventure the last 2 years. So basically, my journey started many years ago. Now, the backstory is that about 10 years ago, from say 18 to 30, I was heavily drinking, and didn't really have much direction, didn't know where I was going in life. But when my mum said to me when I was 21, and by that stage my drinking had escalated to astronomical amounts, and anyway, my mum said to me when I was 21, when are you going to stop drinking? It's not healthy for you. Especially the amounts that I was drinking. And at the time, I remember saying to her when I was 21, I'll drink till I'm 30 and then I'll stop. Because everyone likes to party, in their 20s. That's what they do. So that promise stuck in my head for the rest of those 9 years. And it got to my 30th birthday, and I actually said to my mum, because I see mum for most birthdays, I said to mum on my 30th birthday, again with a lot of pride, I said, do you remember what I said when I was 21? And she said, yeah. And I said, well, this is it. I'm not going to drink anymore. That was the beginning of the rest of my life. I'd made that decision. And like anything in our lives, it's about that moment, that pivotal moment in our lives when we ourselves decide to make the decision that can, alter the course of everything. So from that moment, I started watching a lot of sort of affirmation videos. I started meditating. I started watching a lot of other life coaches' videos to get ways of coping with what I was going through that was actually triggering me to drink, so I could better deal with those moments, those triggers, in a different way, because I know now that a lot of the time when I drank, it was because I was trying to bury things that hadn't been dealt with. So the first step for me was actually to deal with things that I hadn't dealt with, that I'd buried for a very long time. Now I do have a lot of phobias and some fears, but a lot of it is to do with traumatic experiences. When I was a kid, I spent a lot of time in hospitals. Because of my disability, I was born with Spina Bifida. And yeah, with that, later on, I realised that they were in fact traumas, but thinking back now, I think I showed signs of PTSD and all that when I was very young, because I remember moments where I'd be in a hospital and I'd be pacing in my wheelchair, and Mum again would say, "Would you sit still?" And me pacing would actually make her nervous. So that was the beginning, I think, of the signs of the PTSD, and that was about, I think, 7 or 8 years old, because, and I say this with no word of a lie, I've seen things in hospitals from a young age that that no child should see, blood, vomit, scars, cuts, things like that, that children basically shouldn't be seeing. Basically things that were, are in horror movies. That's how, the best way I can describe it. So all of those experiences have led me to be where I am at this present moment, because, and going back to the aha moment, when I was filling out the form today and the occupation, it asked me for my occupation, I proudly put in there, in that little occupation section, I put in life coach. And the lady in the gym actually said to me, because I said, when I read it, I actually said, well, yeah, I'm a life coach. But to begin with, I actually said, well, that's a really interesting question. That's when the lady said to me, what do you do? What kind of job have you got? And I said, well, I've been working really hard to get my business off the ground, which is spiritual superheroes, hence why I have the nickname, the spiritual superhero. My business is called Spiritual Superheroes. So, I mean, for different reasons, everyone that goes through some sort of trauma has that aha moment where they're like, I need to do something with this that is more constructive and actually get out of it. They sort of, I guess, they get to the bottom. And when you get to the bottom, where basically where I was when I was drinking, there's nowhere to go but up, because you've already sunk to the bottom. So, I mean, some people have the aha moment earlier, and that's great. If you can get to the stage where you can have that aha moment earlier. But for me personally, I had to hit rock bottom to actually get there. But as I say, every one of my life experiences have led me to be where I am on this current day at this present moment. I believe, and I have believed for many years, that I was put on this earth to help people. I mean, I do have a lot of love in my heart, and a lot of compassion, as well as being an empath, of course. I understand a lot of people's, well, that have been through difficult times because of my own trauma. So I believe that I have believed for a very long time that I have a lot to offer the world, and here I am talking to you all, basically bearing my soul, telling you that I am here to help. So yeah, I just guess with that, life itself is a difficult path, but it's sort of pivotal to remember that although there is going to be good times and bad, we actually do have to take the good and the bad with each other, because really without the bad experiences in our life, we wouldn't be able to know what the good things are, and with that we wouldn't be able to appreciate the good things when they happen. So you really can't have one without the other, and every life experience, whether good or bad, makes us who we are as people. It's our life experiences that ultimately mould us and make us superheroes, basically. And hence why I picked the name, because I believe that everybody's a superhero in one way or another. We've all got something unique to offer the world. We all have different things that we can and can't do. I mean, that's the way the world functions. But I think with that being said, it is important for us to, as human beings, help our fellow man, because like we know that every human being on the planet struggles at one point. I mean, we all need help at one point, and I, for one, know that I am here to help. So, with that being said, I'll see you on the next one. And if you haven't checked out my website is www.spiritualsuperheroes.com.au. All the links to my other pages are on the website. And yeah, I will see you on the next one.